Driving an automatic car seems pretty straightforward, right? Just put it in drive and go. But did you know that there are some common habits that can actually cause serious damage to your car's automatic transmission? In this video, we're going to go over the biggest no-nos that you should avoid to keep your automatic transmission healthy and save yourself from costly repairs down the road. Mistake number 1, resting your hand on the shift lever. Let's start with a habit that might seem harmless, resting your hand on the shift lever while driving. But here's why you should avoid doing this. The shift lever is directly connected to the transmission's valve body, which controls the flow of transmission fluid. By applying pressure or resting your hand on the lever, you can cause misalignment and fluid leaks over time. Now you might be thinking, but I'm not putting that much force on it. However, even a small amount of pressure or movement can be enough to cause problems in the long run. The transmission's components are incredibly precise, and even a slight misalignment can lead to issues. Over time, this habit can cause premature wear and tear on the transmission's internal parts, which can eventually lead to expensive repairs or even complete transmission failure. And trust me, you don't want to be on the hook for a new transmission. That's a repair bill that can easily run into the thousands of dollars. So what should you do instead? Simple. Keep your hands on the steering wheel and avoid putting any unnecessary force on the shift lever. It might seem like a small thing, but a little habit adjustment now can save you from a hefty repair bill later on. Mistake number 2, shifting from drive to reverse before stopping. Next up, let's talk about a mistake that's all too common, shifting from drive to reverse or vice versa while the car is still rolling. We've all been in a hurry and tried to do this, but it's a big no-no for automatic transmissions. Here's why. When you shift gears while the car is still moving, it causes excessive strain and wear on the transmission's internal components. Specifically, it puts a lot of stress on the clutch packs and bands that are responsible for engaging and disengaging the different gear sets. Over time, this practice can lead to slippage, rough shifting, and even complete transmission failure. And let me tell you, a slipping transmission is not only frustrating to deal with, but it's also a sign that major repairs are likely in your future. The proper way to shift is to come to a complete stop first, then move the shift lever to the desired gear. It might seem like an extra step, but taking that extra second to stop can prevent costly transmission damage in the long run. Think of it this way. Would you rather take an extra second to shift correctly, or risk having to shell out thousands of dollars for a new transmission? The choice is pretty clear. Mistake number 3, riding the brakes. Next up, we have a habit that many drivers develop without realizing the potential harm, riding the brakes. Now, what do we mean by riding the brakes? It's simply the practice of keeping your foot on the brake pedal while driving, even when you're not actively braking. Maybe you do it out of habit, or maybe you think it's helping you maintain control of the car. But here's the problem. In an automatic car, riding the brakes can cause excessive heat buildup in the transmission fluid. And when that fluid gets too hot, it can break down and lose its ability to properly lubricate the transmission's internal components. This, in turn, can cause premature wear on those parts, leading to issues like slippage, rough shifting, and ultimately a shorter lifespan for your transmission. Instead of riding the brakes, it's better to use the engine's braking power when possible. For example, you can downshift to a lower gear when going downhill, or simply take your foot off the gas and coast to reduce your speed. And when you do need to brake, apply firm pressure and then release the pedal. Don't keep your foot on the brake unless you're at a complete stop. By breaking this habit and being mindful of your braking technique, you can help prevent unnecessary strain on your transmission and keep it running smoothly for years to come. Mistake number 4, towing or hauling beyond the car's capacity. The last big mistake we're going to cover is one that can really put your automatic transmission through the ringer. Towing or hauling loads that are beyond your car's rated capacity. Now you might be thinking, but my car has a tow hitch, so it must be able to tow something, right? Well, not necessarily. Automatic transmissions are designed to handle a specific amount of weight and strain, and exceeding that limit can put immense stress on the transmission. When you overload your car by towing or hauling loads that are too heavy, it can cause the transmission to overheat, slip gears, and potentially fail entirely. And let me tell you, a transmission failure is not something you want to deal with. It's one of the most expensive repairs you can face when it comes to your car. So, how do you avoid this mistake? Simple. Before towing or hauling anything, always check your owner's manual to determine your car's maximum towing or payload capacity. These numbers are there for a reason, and it's important to stay within those limits. And if you need to move something that exceeds your car's capacity, it's best to rent a larger vehicle or arrange for professional hauling services instead. Trust me, it's worth the extra expense to avoid potentially ruining your transmission. So there you have it. 4 major mistakes that you should avoid at all costs if you want to keep your automatic transmission running smoothly for years to come. Remember, your transmission is a complex and expensive component, and treating it with care is essential. By avoiding habits like resting your hand on the shift lever, shifting gears before stopping, riding the brakes, and overloading your car with heavy loads, you can help prevent premature wear and tear and costly repairs down the line. It might seem like a hassle to break these habits, but trust me, it's well worth the effort. A little mindfulness and attention to proper driving techniques can go a long way in extending the lifespan of your transmission and keeping your repair bills to a minimum.